Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do another math video. Vaxx versus virus. From hell. Sometimes, when you look at numbers and you want to analyze risk, it makes sense to lie with statistics just to prove a point. So this is what happens. Let's say we have a vaccine for the CCP virus from hell. Now, per YouTube's policy, 1, get tested. 2, get antibody tested. Do I have it? Antibody, did I have it? 3, am I medically cleared to be vaccinated? If so, great. If not, sucks to be you. Most people can. So let's, oh my God, my hands have been torn up doing work on vehicles and stuff. So let's just do it that way. Now, we're going to give the anti-vaxxers a huge statistical edge. We're going to let them think that the 700, we're going to use the same numbers from the last video, 700,000 killed from the virus. And we're going to give them this advantage. We're going to assume hypothetically that the vaccine also killed 700,000 people and see which one is more dangerous. Now again, the red numbers are false, the black numbers are true. This is the useful analysis of a lie, and all the numbers are simplified. They're basically the same as the last one. So, for the virus, we have truthfully 700,000 killed. We have 100 million people survive. And when they die, now there are a few very rare breakthrough cases where people get it twice. But when the virus kills you, it only has to hit you one time. It hits you, you hit the ground, you're dead. And the fatality rate overall is about 0.007. Okay, so you have 100,700,000 there. The fact of the matter is, says the Vaxx still wins in terms of its in terms of the lower fatality rate. Okay, so the vaccine's still safer. Now here in the vaccine, and this is the survivor, here in the vaccine, we know 190 million survive. So the vaccine leaves has to have 190 million survivors to kill 700,000 people. Okay, here, and we have to break it down by dosage. Now you can look at the number of totally vaccinated, fatality rate, or you can look at the rate per exposure, per how many jabs versus how many fully vaxxed. So again, these are the numbers. 10 million have the J&J, which is just a 1 dose. About 180 million people, and again, and it might be 15 million or 9 or whatever, about 180 million people have an mRNA, which is a 2 dose. So your total exposures to the vaccines are 370 million exposures are needed to produce 700,000 fatalities. Here, you only need 100 million exposures to produce 700,000 fatalities. And the virus and the vaccine mainly gets you, most of the issues are the second dose, the second mRNA. So if the vaccine kills you, typically speaking, it has to hit you twice to kill you. This thing only has to hit you once. Okay? So, again, even if the numbers are the same, the anti-vax people lose. There's no way these idiots can win. There's no way these idiots can show that the vaccine is more dangerous than the virus. Now, previous to the video, the actual numbers, of course, are the virus is actually 88.666 times more dangerous than the vaccine. And again, you can see my last video. They still can't win. They still can't win. What I'm going to do is I'll put a graph in at the end to show you people are talking about the breakthrough cases for vaccinated people and the fatalities versus unvaccinated. There's a graph that I found that I'm going to put in the end of this that's really interesting. So, but there's also a few other differences between how vaccinated people infect others and unvaccinated people do. If you're vaccinated, the first thing is you're more likely to be asymptomatic. I didn't bother writing this down. You're more likely to be asymptomatic. So you're not going to know you're sick and you're just going to infect others. The second thing, if you're vaccinated, is you have higher histamine levels. So what happens is you have hay fever, and you're not just going to be coughing and not expelling anything like I did when I was unvaccinated. You're going to be like spraying, droplets halfway across the room, splattering everything. And of course, that makes you a super spreader, because you can have a low viral load and be a super spreader at the same time. The other little wrinkle with vaccinated people is you're more likely to have a false negative, okay, because your viral load's lower and you're shedding virus as fast as you're producing it, versus if you're unvaccinated, well, you're more likely to get a false positive. So again, the PCR cycles, when they do the test, they really do need to take your vaccination status into account when they figure out how many cycles you have, and they don't. So this is a critical error in the testing that's probably already killed people. So again, yes, you should get tested, but the system isn't perfect. It can be improved. How can the vaccines be improved? It's called polyvariant. If you look at the strain that the vaccine has, the Wuhan's gone. There's only one variant in the vaccine, and Wuhan's gone. I mean, they're lucky it works against other variants at all. But truthfully, what you need to do with the vaccines to make it, like take your pneumonia vaccine, that has 23 variants in one vaccine. It's 97% effective. This thing, the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, only has one variant. So, and in the vaccine versus multiple variants out there, it's surprising that it works against Delta as well as it does. I mean, it's actually surprising. What you need is a next-gen polyvariant vaccine, probably something with, at a minimum, Delta, Delta plus, Gamma, Mu, and whatever the South Africa one's called, Beta. And the Brazil variant, put a couple of those in a vaccine, and there's no way any future variant is going to escape that, and you'll get much broader spectrum antibodies that'll pretty much work against anything, and that's how you get sterilizing immunity. So the vaccines still work. T-cell immunity is still good. The antibodies, not so much. And T-cell immunity, even by itself, even if you don't have a single antibody that works, is still a good thing to have. So, but again, there still needs to be a lot of improvement in the system. I'm not saying the system is perfect. It's not, but it's much better than nothing. And it's too bad Donald Trump didn't get elected a second time, because we'd already have the polyvariant ones. We would already be over. Biden's taken longer to update the vaccines than it did to make them in the first place, which is pathetic. Of course, he's a tool of China anyway, so what do you expect? So, this is White Lightning 777, signing off.